Okay, Chuck, I did have to replace the band switch. When I tried to, when I pulled the knobs off, the half of that shaft came with the knob. But I had some more band switches, spare band switches here, so I replaced that. And well, I had to take the front of it off. I can't show you now where it plugs in on the board, but it just plugs in onto the board, and then the little jumper for it plugs in right there. Okay, I had to cut all the wire ties loose, but as you can hear, I got sound. See that connector right back there? The one that's is now white. It was brown. It's in between the two jacks. One's a PA jack and one is the external speaker jack. That connector was almost out of the board. What did I do with it? There it is. Okay, it was just soldered right on the very tip. And see that pin there in the middle? If you notice, it's just got a tiny little bit of solder on it, right close to the end. Well, this connector wasn't sticking all the way through the board. It was just barely sticking out the other side of the PC board. It wasn't, the pin wasn't sticking all the way through the hole to be soldered. Hang on, let me turn it off. I want to flip it over so I can show you, but I don't want to do it with the power turned on. Okay, right there is where it was. It's in between the PA jack and the external speaker jack. All right, but anyway, that center pin right there wasn't coming all the way through the board. So the tip of it was just touching the solder, and it's hard for me to but it was just touching the solder, and anytime you hit a bump or whatever, then you'd lose that connection. So I just pulled it out and put a brand new one in there, and I've been trying it different ways, playing things, and it's been working great. Also, I ran into a problem with this thing. I told you that I thought the band switch had been hit. Well, I should have ran with that, but I did notice when I was looking, because it was off frequency. It wasn't. There's 3 bands on there that were like way down below channel 1. So I thought it was over here. But I noticed when I pressed on the board in this area, the regular channels would come back. And so I kept searching until there's a jumper that goes underneath an IC right here. I pull this IC out. I replaced it with a regular 16-pin dip IC. This is something that Ranger came up with because they couldn't get the dip ICs. They used a surface mounted on an adapter that turns into a 16-pin IC, but I put the regular IC back in there. But there's a jumper underneath that IC, and they cut it off too short. So it wasn't always making contact between this pin and this run. So what I did was put a almost a 0 ohm resistor between that pin and that run, connected that center connection there to make sure that it didn't change frequency when you get the radio back. This is just insurance. I resoldered that jumper, but I just wanted to make sure, because like I said, it was almost too short. But anyway, that's all been taken care of. And like I told you, that right there is where that connector was. And he's been replaced with a new connector, one that's the other piece snaps into a little better. All right, plus I put a little hot glue on it to make sure it didn't come unplugged again. And like I said, it's been working just fine. Had to completely disassemble the front of it. Well, you can still see how the front of the radio's caved in right there. Can you see that? Oh, it's pushed in, and I'll try to straighten that out too here before I put the face and everything back on it. But it took quite a wallop on the front. But there's your new band switch. Okay, it works perfectly. And nothing was wrong with the knob. I mean, it didn't tear up the knob, but let me get this off here. Okay, you can definitely see it right there now. See how it's curved in right through there? So it took a pretty good hit here in the front. But I got the clarifier, I got the shaft straightened out on them to where they don't interfere with each other. I mean, they both turn freely. When I first started messing with it, this one would catch this one and turn it, and vice versa. But now they're both independent again. Okay, same thing with the volume knob. The rest of them seem to be fine. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Fire it back up. Now, probably what I'll do, I had enabled, I had put high cut in here, but what I'm going to do is put you a switch here on the back, right there, where you can turn high cut on and off. Okay. Let's see, are we on AM? Yeah, we're on AM now. Yeah, that's what AM normally sounds like. When I put that high cut filter in there, when I turn it on, then AM is really quiet. I'm sure, like, if you're like me, you probably like it like that. So I'm leaving the high cut filter in there. I'm just going to put a switch here in the back of the radio so you can turn it on and off. Okay? All right. Okay, I've got the front of it straightened out, I think. This is a straight edge. I'm going to put it against the back of this straight edge here. As you can see, it's pretty straight now. Right. Plus, my calibrated eyeball says it's straight. See that? And it looks like all the controls are all pointing straight out instead of pointing at each other. And there you can see where it was rubbing against the face. When I started turning it, I realized right away that something was off, and so I stopped turning it and pulled the knob out a little bit, but it still got into the clear coat behind the channel knob. All right, it looks like this radio stays in like I guess it probably stays in a hot truck all the time, don't it? Because your decal is shrinking. All right, I'll look and see if I've got another one of these. I don't think I do, but if I do, I'll replace this one. If not, I'm just going to send it back to you with this one on there. I might try try to trim it up around the windows a little bit so it don't look so bad. But of course, though, it would probably look worse if I try to do that. I'll just leave it alone if I ain't got another one. Okay. Alright, you got your dust guards back on there behind the switches. Getting ready to put the face back on there now. Okay, got the cables here around the front tied back up. Getting ready to put the switch in for the high cut.